Get the Friendo Club set up today and get access to over 700 Going In Raw bonus episodes, our monthly Big Blue predictions challenges, and the ability to ask questions at Going In Raw. We also offer the Steven Larson comic book and exclusive Friendo Club t-shirt. Just hit join here at youtube.com/Steven Larson or go to patreon.com/Steven Larson to sign up. Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
Welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to on today's episode. Larson, can you strike the pose for absolute Ricky Starks? Maybe. We'll find out what his name is going to be on this episode.
It better be Ricky.
Going In Raw. I don't know. There's a lot of really cool trademark names that WWE has whipped up. We're going to talk about the Ricky Starks debut on NXT. Pretty big deal. Pretty cool to see him there very quickly after it was reported that his contract was basically non-existent with AEW anymore. We're also going to talk about AEW, Dynamite, and answer the question, are they on a creative upswing ahead of AEW Grand Slam, which is happening and airing at some point over the next, I don't know.
Well, we know when it's happening at
hours?
some point at Saturday night. I got your details on the NBA All-Star Weekend. I mentioned it because it's pertinent to when Grand Slam airs. So, Friday night at 7 is the celebrity game. Of course, Bailey's playing in that.
Okay, hold on a second. Pause.
What?
7 what time? 7
Eastern, so 4 Pacific. Sorry.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a big deal then.
That's Friday.
4 Pacific is when we get to see Bailey ball.
Yes, on Friday.
Okay. Friday.
Saturday.
Wait, we have a SmackDown that day.
Yeah, that's an hour after the celebrity game. That's at 4.
Oh, wow.
Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific is when the All-Star Saturday Night festivities kick off. So we got the skills challenge.
Yeah, 3-point.
3-point contest, dunk contest.
Dunkaroo, yeah.
And then, of course, the All-Star game is 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 Eastern on Sunday.
Isn't that like a weird tournament format or something weird?
Yeah,
like
they got
4 teams, Candace, Chuck, Kenny, and
Shaq.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get Shaq. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's like a little mini tournament.
That's fun. That's cool. I like them doing different stuff. Anyway,
do different stuff. Yeah.
So that's all good info to have. I'm just kind of curious now. I kind of am curious about the celebrity game because I get to see Bailey's handles. You know.
Yeah.
We'll see that go down. We'll see who else is in
Keep
that
going.
thing.
Let's see who else is on the celebrity game roster.
Find out how many people you actually know in the celebrity game. So yeah, man, huge news. By the way, programming note. I don't think we're doing any watch-alongs this weekend. Grand Slam is airing some nebulous time after the All-Star festivities on Saturday night. Mm-hmm. And then Vengeance Day, I think, is competing with the All-Star stuff on Saturday evening as well, I think.
Yes, I believe so.
It's on Saturday?
Yeah.
All right. Should be, look, there's going to be some phenomenal wrestling on both shows. There really are.
Yes.
There's some killer matches
there are
coming up on those shows. So it's a good weekend of wrestling. Of course, it's part of our February Predictions Challenge. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. But first, let's talk about Absolute Ricky Starks. Made his debut in very Scott Hall WCW fashion.
Yes.
Is that a precursor to Netflix getting WCW? I don't know. But
I think you're reading way too much into it.
One day after it was reported by Fightful that Ricky Starks, Miro, and Malachi Black were all free of AEW, free to go wherever they want to go, Ricky Starks went to NXT. In the crowd with the promo, all eyes on him. They started chanting Ricky Starks, and he says, you know my name? Do you know my number? And said, I'm here. I look really good, and I'm here for the future.
Apparently expensive fragrance as well.
Yeah, really, nice smelling perfume. And said, hey, you know what? I'm here. What's up? And then,
the revolution's gonna be televised again.
But very, very conspicuously, without a name.
Yes.
So that got a lot of
Joseph
people.
Did the is that?
We know who that is.
Yeah.
But nobody said his name on the YouTube upload. No name. Now, probably has more to do with something very boring like trademark paperwork. But no. You and I are going to speculate on what his new name is going to be like.
All right, first, let's talk about this first because let's get the news out of the way and then we can speculate. So, PW Insider, Fightful Select, both say Ricky is signed. Fightful said the deal came together super quick, which might be the reason why no name mentioned because of, there's different deals they do for people who are bringing their names any sort of presentation aspects to the company, whether it be music, names. So like Jordan Grace, when she was at the Rumble, she had her TNA theme playing,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So if she owns that theme, WWE has to license that as well as her name, likeness, all that. That's a bunch of paperwork. So if it's simply a situation, hey, we want you here to make maximum impact because you're just a free agent, sign an appearance, sign a deal, the basic deal, so we can get you in the building, and then we'll worry about the licensing aspect of it after that, which I imagine would explain why no name.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That being said, they got to keep Ricky Starks. It's absolute Ricky Starks.
Listen, man. Yeah, you say that, but then when presented with the possibility of him being Trill London, get out of here with that. Come on. Who wouldn't want Trill London in the NXT zone? How about this?
If I had established a brand under the name Absolute Ricky Starks, I want to keep Absolute Ricky Starks.
How about this? Absolute Hayes Jameson. That's even better. These are all the trademark names from WWE. The new edition of Kayfabe Corner.
There we go. Yeah,
is this or is this not?
Something Steve made up, yeah.
Yeah, how about this one? Jax Presley. Come on, it's like the king of rock and roll. Remember the dude who stole all that music?
Jax, is it Jack with an S on it or Jax?
It's an X. X is way cooler, man. Jax Presley. Oh. There you go. How about this? Taint Wilder.
You made that one up.
I did. It's actually Tate Wilder, but look at you. 1 for 1 on Kayfabe Corner.
Steve made it up.
Yeah, man. Harley Riggins. No good?
No,
did I
none
make
of those
that
are
up,
as good
or
as
is it
Ricky
real?
Starks.
Did I make that one up, though?
So Dang Q here says all those trademarks are taken by PC talent. They come up with a name, they assign the name to somebody, and then they trademark it. Those are all taken.
You know what? Y'all are being boring with this. I know that. I know that Osiris Griffin is the name of PC guy Joshua Black, I think is his actual name. That's boring. I want to assign one of these to people who have well-known names. Look, it's kind of weird that they just wouldn't have like a situation where, hey, this is happening really fast. Here's like a 1-day trademark waiver thing that you can just sign so we can say your stupid name.
Remember they kind of did this with Ricochet? When he was in the crowd, I believe he was
Trevor
Ricochet, or Trevor Mann. And then it seemed like there was a spell where like, what's his name going to be? Is it going to be Ricochet? Is it going to be Trevor Mann? Then come something new for him. And they're just like, oh, we'll stick with Ricochet.
Yeah.
This is like the closest. Remember when Aleister Black actually made his WWE debut during a special match against Neville during the first NXT UK tournament as Tommy End.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was honestly, Tommy End's a better name than anything that has been
Tommy
since
End's
then.
a great name.
Aleister Black is fine. Malachi's fine. But Tommy End is a really cool name.
Good name.
Should have stuck with that. Yeah, no, I know. There's a history of weird name stuff in WWE, obviously, for mainly trademark reasons, and that's great and all. But, you can kind of appreciate, though, that at the very least, they have tons of different types of precedent when it comes to that stuff. And in this situation, being compared to the WCW debut of Scott Hall, kind of a cool way to debut Ricky Starks. The mystery, it gets an added layer of people talking about it, which is cool. It's like, oh my gosh, are they going to change his name? Would they do that?
Yeah. So Edub here says WWE did introduce Asuka as Kana when she debuted. They did something similar with
Finn
Kenta
and
too.
Hideo Katami. Yeah.
Kenta. They had, they had a whole segment about him getting his new name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they would explain kind of, this is the inspiration behind my name. They've done that a couple times, but yeah, that was the same period where they were doing that, which I always liked. It added a theatrical aspect to it. It's like, hey, we all know what the deal is here. We all know what's going on here, but let's try to add a little bit of lore behind everything. What I think is cool. I'm sad that they never tried to have Andre Chase explain why he couldn't keep Harlem Bravado.
Yeah.
Because that talk about a name that really did not fit the character. Like Andre Chase in any way, shape, or form should never have a name as cool as Harlem Bravado.
I know.
Because that is like maybe the coolest name anybody has ever come up with.
It's fantastic.
It really is. But yeah, he should have been like, you know what? I realize that I'm a boring college guy. So Andre Chase is more fitting with that than Harlem Bravado.
Yeah.
Draco Knox. Who do you think's going to get Draco Knox?
I don't know.
Some of these are an absolute mouthful.
I know.
Don't exactly roll off the tongue.
Wow, Dan Daniels says Andre Chase's tag partner was Lancelot Bravado.
It was his brother. Yeah,
wow.
it was his shoot brother too. It was an actual brother.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Lancelot. Yeah. Champion Loathing says LA Knight is Harlem Bravado. No, LA Knight is Eli Drake, which is bizarrely the most boring name you could possibly come up with, because it's not even his real name. Like his real name, Sean Richter, is much more interesting than Eli Drake.
But it's the syllables, Eli Drake. He likes that thing. The cadence.
There's got to be other names that have 3 syllables.
There's tons
that are much more interesting.
And Larson. There you go.
Than Eli Drake. Steve here.
No, there's just 2.
Just 2. There's 2 right there. Oh, so anyways, yeah, excited to have Ricky Starks in NXT. Couple other lingering questions though, which we'll know once they happen. How long do you think he's going to be there, and who's his first feud going to be with? Larson, what do you think about those questions?
I feel like they should put the North American title on him ASAP. Once Tony D'Angelo's done with this program with Sean Spears, which should be like, I don't know, 2 weeks from now in a match. Heck, even if it's Sean Spears, his crew helps him cheat to win the title, he has the belt for all 2 weeks. Have Ricky Starks take it off to Sean Spears.
Okay, all right. In that case, you think Starks would have that title for a good solid year before he goes to main roster?
No, I don't think he's going to be in NXT for a year, no.
Year goes by pretty quick.
I know, but he could go to main roster right now. Apparently, according to Fightful, one of the reasons they had him go to NXT initially is because creative plans on the main roster are kind of locked in going into WrestleMania for the most part, whereas NXT is a bit more flexible.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, it's flexible because it's at the whims of Triple H.
So,
that's funny.
Post-Mania? I'm not saying right after WrestleMania, but at some point post-Mania is more likely time frame.
You think 2025 he's going to be on main roster by the end of the year?
I wouldn't be surprised. How long was Ethan Page in NXT?
Well, he's still in NXT.
I mean, if he gets called up at Mania, how long will it be that he's in NXT? A year, maybe? When did he
show up? When did he debut? What was his debut? Boy, he did so much so quickly.
I know.
Ethan Ego. Heather probably knows the exact date.
May, so if he gets called up after Mania, it'll be about.
It was May.
Yeah, so Pontius Olsen here.
Boy, yeah, time does go by quickly.
You got that right, buddy.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. It sort of depends on, again, what they want for NXT, where they're going to go with it. I agree with you. I think that dude obviously can go to main roster right now. But if, the Eaton's good in NXT, if he likes it there, if they like him there, if he's doing good work there, I don't know if there's any reason he can't be there for a year. I don't know that he will be. I can't tell the future, but
yeah.
It's a buzzy brand right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if there's any reason why. And on top of that, NXT, golly, there's nothing going on up the top. Mm-hmm. Across the men's division.
I know. They have to bring in main roster talent to feud with Oba at this point,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, and that's an issue. And yeah, if I mean, it's kind of a situation where they bring Ricky in to add some additional talent to the main event scene in NXT. I don't necessarily see him beating Oba, and I don't know if we want Ricky Starks taking a bunch of L's either.
Well, okay, let me ask you this then. Let's say Ricky is kind of used in a similar fashion as like Ethan Page in terms of like being a bit of a stopgap. Not a stopgap, but, we're trying to develop the men's division so that it's got kind of its own in-house, where these are all characters, the projects that we've worked on that can legitimately be in the main event. Mm-hmm. Or at the very least, be considered as important pieces on main roster over the next 5-10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Javon Evans is probably like him and Obafemi, obviously, in terms of people that we think are probably going to be on in NXT for, I could see Obafemi being there for another year.
Yeah.
There's no need to call him up to main roster anytime soon. He could be a foundational main event guy there.
Yeah,
for
I think
the
he's
next
going to
year.
have that title for a while. So.
Javon Evans as well. But like, if you look at some of the other projects they've had, none of them really scream to me like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not talking about Trick. Trick is going to be on main roster by April.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Ridge Holland.
Yeah.
You know, and I know he was a main roster guy. I get that. But he's had that sort of reinvention in NXT. I don't necessarily I think that he's probably in a better position now. He's definitely in a better position now than before when he came to NXT. But he's not like screaming, oh my gosh, this guy's going to be a main event guy.
No, you don't necessarily look at him right now and think, oh, he's got the chance to main event WrestleMania in 5 years.
Right. Sean Spears, we always say, like, you know, we talk about him very tongue-in-cheek. You know, like, he's not serious.
I mean, he like Sean Spears is the journeyman type wrestler they bring in probably to be just as much a coach as player, you know?
Absolutely, yeah, 1,000%. You mentioned him already, the Don, Tony D. Now,
yeah.
I have grown fond to a degree of Tony D because I think the chemistry within the family is actually pretty sound. I like what they did this week with the Izzy Dame turn. Do I see him as anything more than like a low mid-card guy on main roster? Not really, dude. I just really don't.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. And honestly, they got rid of the diamond in the rough Joe Coffey. You know, I thought that guy could have been like a WrestleMania main event. I'm joking. I like Gallus, though. But there's just not, you know, they did with the women, which is kind of what I think they should do to agree with the men. It's like, hey, let's just sign some really, really awesome names and then be like, oh my God. And they've also developed a lot of really great talent.
They have. They've done a great job of development of talent in the women's division. Yeah.
Yeah. But like otherwise, you know, how long, let me ask you this. My original question was, how long do you think it's going to take for them to develop the men to the point where they're not going to need to bring in outside guys?
You know, that's a tough question because there's going to be a not constant, but a regular round of call-ups. So, and I don't know how much communication there is between Shawn Michaels and Triple H regarding, all right, time frames, and we want this person ready, and so they be called up here. Don't know. Like right now, it seems like NXT is really focused on developing Javon Evans to be a main event talent, which he is.
Oh, dude.
Phenomenal wrestler, tons of charisma, really good on the mic. He's got
relatable as fuck.
Super relatable, yeah.
Yeah.
I would not be shocked if he's the one that beats Obafemi for that title.
Same.
In fact, I'd be shocked if he wasn't the one to beat Obafemi for that title. But if he's progressing at a rate, and Triple H's like, oh, I know how I could utilize him on the main roster in like 3 months. So sorry, heartbreak.
I mean, that's just ripping it out, though. That's like
I know, but
I mean,
like champions have literally been drafted, you know?
Yeah, no, I know.
From NXT. So I don't necessarily think it's a situation where, you know, if Triple H says, oh, I think this talent would be really, you know, I have a situation that would be great for them to debut in or something like that. I'm going to call him up, even if Shawn Michaels has plans for Javon Evans to beat Obafemi at Stand Deliver in 2026, for example. You know, if middle of 2025, Triple H's like, Javon Evans, come on up to main roster.
Yeesh.
So that's, you know, we've talked about how that kind of situation plays into NXT's creative where, you know, it's difficult for them to do long form stuff because you set something up, guess what? Someone's called up.
Here's my completely baseless speculation. I feel like, the year that when I was last year when Dijak got called up and they did nothing with him and didn't they draft was that the year they drafted a champion? Who did they called up somebody?
Well, they drafted Ilya when he was champ. And Indy Hartwell.
Indy Hartwell. Champs. Okay, yeah. I would be shocked if this year or any year going forward, Triple H did that kind of shit. I would be surprised. And again, it's baseless. But NXT, they're on the CW. They got that deal. and they're on a really good trajectory. And your main roster is already bursting at the seams. I'm telling you, man, when you and I sit down and we do another round of like, the most likely WrestleMania cards, dude, it is hard.
It is
not to get to like 16 matches across 2 nights and include people who really should be at WrestleMania and not jam pack it. That's already jam packing it with like multi-mans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's already bursting. Like you would think that they would want to keep Javon in NXT for like 2 years. You know?
And they would make sense because he could be the cornerstone of NXT for 2-3 years. Bring him up to main roster. He's got a really strong established brand behind him. But I don't know in terms of their talent evaluations and whatnot. Where I don't know. I always look at NXT like a minor league baseball team.
Can't get too attached to the individuals because they're going to end up going to the main team.
Yeah. You if you're a fan of NXT, you're a fan of NXT. The brand and how they present the show and their characters and that kind of stuff and how it's presented to you as an audience. And you get familiar with the talent there, so when they move up to main roster, you're familiar with the brand's established. I can continue their story. But also in minor league baseball systems, there's a lot of changeover in the talent. So, WB is, heck, they got the WBID talent. They got this LFG show. They're constantly bringing in new people. And yeah, they need to get, some reps, whether it be on Evolve or I guess Level Up's not a thing anymore. But at a certain point, if they discover, someone that they were ready to push immediately, like Obafemi, then, they got to find a spot for that person on NXT Prime, the show. And then if that's going to be a situation, well, then does someone get moved up to accommodate? There's constantly new talent coming into NXT.
Let me ask you this.
Sure.
So
you can't keep, sorry to say this, so you can't keep as much as maybe like Shawn Michaels would love to keep Javon Evans there for 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 is a lot.
It is.
A lot.
I'm just saying, even 2 or 3 years. Well, there's constant influx of talent that needs that TV time as well.
Let me ask you this. Compare your philosophy there, or your belief on that philosophy now versus what it was in 2018. Do you see it in a similar fashion, or in 2018, did you think it was more, well, no, this is more of like its own brand where people are going to stick around longer?
Well, I don't know if, as mentioned, that's necessarily my belief or philosophy. I just wonder if it's their philosophy or it's...
Yeah, right. I mean, but you said that's, you see that it could be that.
It could be, the analogy could be there. I think there was a lot more focus on establishing NXT as a third brand in like 2018, 2019.
I wonder.
Then currently now, let's say that the process to get back there hasn't started. Maybe it has.
And that's sort of what I wonder, if there might be some push and pull. Because I think since they debuted the silver and black aspect of things, I do think that was a bit of a tell. And when they signed all those amazing women talent, because they were available free agents, I think that was kind of a tell that they want to get back to that being its own brand. And whether or not Triple H is going to allow that to happen, or if he's going to be like, oh boy, I see a really great spot for an Obafemi right here, I got to pull him.
Yeah.
At the expense of it being more like 2018, if that's the road that they want to go on or not. Who knows? But it's an interesting discussion. It's an interesting way to keep tracks on the evolution of NXT as a brand, especially since it's become pretty successful lately with the way their viewership is.
Yeah.
How they're able to be touring a little bit more now. That seems to be the case going forward into the new year.
It's almost kind of every other week they're on the road.
Mm-hmm, yeah, it's a lot more now. I mean, it's kind of what I know you had given that on your predictions, but it's something that you and I had talked about a lot in terms of something we'd love to see is them going out and about, more often, to smaller venues.
Yeah, and if the NXT ratings continue to do really well, if they start getting close to 1 million, then they might kind of pivot more so in terms of, all right, let's really establish this as third brand, not let's not necessarily market this as developmental. This is third brand.
Because you got to think they're looking to the future in terms of past this. I don't know. How long is the CW deal for, like 3 years or something like that?
I want to say 3.
I don't think it was 5. I think it was closer to 3.
Yeah.
You got to think if they really like start loading it up and they actually continue to deliver on those ratings. I think in this day and age, 1 million would be, boy, that's a lot to ask. But, if they can continue to grow whatever demographics they want to grow, or viewership demos they want to grow.
Oh, 5-year deal, says Jack.
It's a 5-year deal, really?
Yeah.
Boy. Man, given how they're performing,
that was a bargain for CW.
that was a bar. We should have put a bid in for a dare here at our YouTube channel.
Yeah, I know. We'll stream on our YouTube and Twitch channels.
Yeah, exactly. In any event, let's go ahead and talk about the sponsors for today's show, Larson.
All right, let's do it. Let's take a break here. Get a word from our sponsor, Hims. Hey guys, look, I know it can be tough to deal with hair loss. It's getting pretty thin up here for me as well. But I'm here to tell you that just because you may have lost your hair, that doesn't mean you can't find it again. Hims makes treating hair loss simple with doctor-trusted options and clinically proven ingredients that can regrow hair in as little as 3 to 6 months.
That's correct. And everything is 100% online as well, so you can get access to a wide range of hair loss treatments, all from the comfort of your couch. All you got to do is answer a few questions, and a medical provider will determine if treatment is right for you. And if prescribed, your treatment is sent directly to your door for free. On top of all that, no insurance is needed, and one low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care.
So start your free online visit today at hims.com/goinginraw. That's HIMS.com/goinginraw for your personalized hair loss treatment options. hims.com/goinginraw.
Results vary based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil and finasteride. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
And let's get a word from our sponsor, Tempo. Steve, we're well versed in the ways of fast food, aren't we?
Brother, you have no idea.
Oh, I have an idea. And when you think of fast food, you likely think of unhealthy, thawed-out meat patties just covered in grease. Covered. But sometimes fast food seems like your only option when time is tight and you're in a hurry.
That's true, man. I found myself in that situation, which is why I checked out Tempo. Tempo offers protein-packed fuel that saves you time without compromising your health goals. Tempo is a weekly delivery service that provides you with chef-crafted single-serving meals that are crafted to cook in just 3 minutes, and they're delivered fresh right to your door.
Tempo's meals, such as pesto topped salmon or lemon butter pork chops, take the guesswork out of eating well, and with new recipes each week that are made with real nutrient-rich ingredients, they make it easy to keep up with your healthy lifestyle. And for a limited time, Tempo is offering Going in Raw listeners 60% off your first box. Go to tempomeals.com/raw.
That's tempomeals.com/raw for 60% off your first box. Tempomeals.com/raw. Rules and restrictions may apply. Real quick correction here. Burr Winning here says, no, Ilya lost a trick before being drafted because champions were exempt in 2024. Right. It was, I know for a fact, though, the NXT women's champions were, I think that was the year they were, or the year before was when they were drafted out of NXT, and then they ended up defending them, losing them, I think, to Ronda and Shayna to conglomerate the titles.
Oh, that was Alba and Isla Dawn.
Alba and Isla Dawn, yeah. Did I say somebody else?
No, you didn't.
Okay, yeah.
But but Indy was champion after she won in that ladder match, was hurt.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, she
and
was.
had to
that's
vacate
right.
it, or vacate
that's
it
right.
because she was injured.
Yeah, that's right.
She had the broken ankle.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to start?
You would have to think that DX would text every day, right?
I don't know. They're very busy.
HBK's like, Heartbreak's like, hey, Hunter, it's Heartbreak. Got this great idea for if you bring down, I don't know, give me a name. Give me a lower, bring down Apollo Crews again. I got a time travel gimmick again. Hunter's like, I'm in this shitty confirmation hearing. Did you see that?
No.
Oh, man, it's so wild you being not connected because usually you know everything. Nah, stupid Linda McMahon and her stupid confirmation hearing.
Gosh.
Triple H and Stephanie were behind her. There have been a more useless crop of fucking nominees. Sorry, I'm not getting into it. Let's talk about AEW, Larson. Have they brought back the feeling?
No. There's one simple reason the last couple weeks Dynamite have been more enjoyable, and it's because there's less focus on the Death Rider story. It's not dominating the whole show,
man. Yeah.
And when they focus away from the Death Rider stuff on more on the actual interesting characters they have on their show, it's a more enjoyable product. I like a lot of what they're doing. I like everything they're doing with Hangman. I think feud with him and MJF could be really good, especially if Hangman is, whether it's something from his own doing or whatever. Obviously, springing from the Christopher Daniels thing, face to face with whatever guilt he's feeling about whatever past misdeeds he's done.
Yeah.
And MJF, kind of needling him in that respect. You even kind of did that last night. You're not built for this, Hangman. Harley Cameron is fantastic.
Bro.
More her on TV, please.
Man, what did we say weeks ago? Focus on the shit that's good, minimize the shit that ain't working. And I'll be honest with you. I know you text me today. I'll out your text here because I think you'd be okay with it. You said Cope is corny.
Cope was corny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cope was
which
corny.
He is. And yet somehow, some way, and Jay White's being absolutely wasted in this thing.
Yeah, why is he a sidekick?
But that being said, I think that you got this fucking boomer energy from Mox and Cope that fits each other, and it's not too much of the broadcast. And it's like,
that's the key. If here's the thing, if Cope came out and dropped a 20-minute promo,
don't do that.
No, it's because they're actually being efficient with the time with this Death Rider stuff.
Yes, yeah, dude, you said it exactly right, man. You go up and down the episode yesterday, and the Hangman MJF shit was so fucking good, that one segment, because you got layers of Hangman now across the episode, because he's like, oh man, I want to go talk to Swerve for still reasons that were kind of nebulous, but you can kind of figure out.
Piece it together, yeah.
Right. And I love that they're not just spelling it out for you. And then MJF tells this juvenile joke, and Hangman says, it's been 5 years. That's all you got. And MJF gets really real with him. And it's like, oh shit, that's when he's good, is when he's got something to work with. And he just drills to the heart of Hangman. This isn't you, man. I know you, and you got the people believing in you, but I know you better than that. You're not fit for this. This guy that you've become isn't really you, and you know it's killing you inside, and that's why you're all messed up right now. And Hangman's got nothing to come back with.
Yep.
Except violence, and that's what he comes after him. Max Caster has been entertaining as fuck lately.
Yeah.
He's taken the thing that he was doing that was kind of irritating, because it was like, what is your deal? Why are you acting like this? And he's turned it into annoying heel who gets his ass beat, and people are kind of happy to see it. But at the same time, there's kind of a charm in how pathetic he is.
Yeah.
It works. They are finding the sweet spot for their characters. And I don't know if it's going to last, because AEW in the past they've been kind of not consistent, where they'll find it for a couple weeks, but what did we say the other day, dude? They're going to need killer television for like a year straight.
Yep.
For people to really start giving them the kind of buzz that they really need to get people to bring people back. They're going to have their defenders. They're going to have their people who are sticking with them, regardless if they're doing nothing but throwing a bunch of matches at the wall to see what sticks. They're going to have those people. They will continue to fall off, but if they can bring this kind of energy week in, week out, where they're actually telling stories that are building the matches on a pace that works. Even the silliness with Mox for an episode with Mox and Jay White absconding with the briefcase and then taking Spike to it. I even like that stuff, because it's telling you a show-long story, and it's adding a little bit of a wrinkle, and it's giving Mox a reason to accept the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they need to do. They need to come up with fresh stuff every single week instead of spinning wheels, which too often they've done in advance of a match. Oh, we got the match coming up, so we don't really have to do anything to build to it. So it has been good for the past couple of weeks. Even Collision was good this past week. So, Yeah, they're on the right track. It's going to take a long time.
Yeah. I think 2 consecutive weeks of decent Dynamites is kind of maybe far too early to say whether they're consistently on the right track or not. Because we've seen this before, where it's been a lull and they do 2 or 3 enjoyable weeks of TV, and then the lull happens all over again. So
JJ Zappa here JJ Zappa in the YouTube chat here says you get the Harley and Hangman segments, but then you get whatever the hell Jericho match was with Bandito. I didn't mind. I'll be honest. I didn't mind the showdown all that much because it wasn't anything. Like, they do the thing, they're standing back to back, and I get it. It's a Western theme. They take their paces. The crowd was really good.
It was a good crowd.
It was a good crowd. Yeah. And they do their paces, and they turn around, and the idea is, okay, now they're going to have a match, and instead Brian Keith. But then it all gets punctuated with a really good feud between Big Bill and Hobbs. It's like, who doesn't like that stuff? 2 big dudes going at it. And so I even thought that wasn't terrible, So I don't know, man. I thought there was a lot to appreciate with AEW last night. I think there's a lot to appreciate with what they've been doing as of late.
Yep. Hopefully they keep it up. Let's jump into it. Let's talk about the stealing of this briefcase. So early in the show, Cope attacks Mox, and that allows Jay White to steal the briefcase. They run off. Mox and Marina are freaking out. So later on, we're backstage. Jay and Cope are with briefcase. And Jay says, hey, John, missing something. So you're load a little light. Don't worry about your precious cargo. Just get on a plane, head to Australia, because me and the Rated R Superstar have a canvas that we must paint with the blood of the one true king. And then Cope says, Mox, you run around throwing tantrums and drooling all over the place. You don't have the weapon that keeps everyone under your thumb. He's holding a briefcase. Says their sycophants won't listen to you. If you want it back, just meet us in the ring at the end of the night. I'll see you out there, kid. So in the main event segment, they come to the ring. Cope says, hear me out. AEW World Title has been hidden for a few months. Y'all want to see it. So the crowd pops. So he says, I have an idea. So he goes under the ring, gets out the case that has Spike in it, gets Spike out, which is just a 2x4 with a bunch of nails in it. He says, I don't know if you remember Spike, but she's hungry and wants to dig her teeth into that briefcase. So Mox is simple. If you don't come out and accept my challenge, I'm going to smash open this briefcase and take the title, come out and give me your answer. So you hear Mox off screen, like the voice of God, yelling out, you have no idea the mistake you're making. You don't think I care? You don't know jack about it. These people don't know jack about it. I left pieces of my soul in that ring and what it represents. I am the shepherd. I'm about to do something I don't want to do. I'll show you how much I care. Revolution, I'm going to break your neck. You want your shot, you got it. And Cope says, cool, but I'm still going to bust up this briefcase with spikes. He starts wailing away at it. Was
the intention of Cope here to actually open the thing? Because I feel like he was going about it the wrong way. Jay White literally had bolt cutters.
I know.
Why didn't he just take the bolt cutters to the thing?
I mean, it's from the point of view of dramatics.
Oh,
giant
theatrically
2x4
speaking,
with nails.
Yeah, that's much more interesting.
Yeah. So he starts smashing at the case. Mox is waving the rest of the Death Riders out, so they come to the ringside area. Ultimately, Marina manages to get the briefcase back. Pac eats a spear. Then Claudio eats one too. Oh, Blade Runner, sorry. Mox grabs Spike, but then Cope hits him with a spear. And then Jay says, you got Revolution all set, but Grand Slam Australia, we put you and the Death Riders in the ground. And so Cope stand there with Spike. Death Riders are out of the ring fleeing.
That's still one of the sillier aspects, is though Jay White being like, hey, the title match, you got that coming up. But before then, we're going to have a tag match. I still don't really get that one, but I don't know. I mean, I understand they got, they're in Australia.
Maybe to a certain degree, maybe it would have made a little bit more sense in terms of the plotting of the story if at tag match, like 1, Cope and Jay White win, 2, in the process of winning, they get the briefcase.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like Cope can say, Mox, I got to win over you, plus I got briefcase. Now it's like, you got to give me this match.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Like Mox keeps on like, no. Or you know what you could have done? Just had the match at Revolution contingent on the outcome of the tag match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More stakes on the tag match.
Because then Jay White becomes less of a sidekick to Edge, and it's like, well, why are you doing this? And more, it's like, well, Cope, I need you to do this for me. And then when I win,
what's in it for me?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll give you your first shot if I beat it.
Exactly. Let's move on to the Hangman MJF stuff. So show opened up with Max Caster in the ring. He's got his trademark certificate.
He's got a notarized trademark signed for the best wrestler alive, and he says, "I'm giving anybody, anywhere, a chance to go eye to eye with me, the best wrestler alive. Since I ran Bones and Billy Gunn out of this company, the true mastermind behind the Acclaimed, it was always me. Let's see who can survive the best wrestler alive." And then Hangman's music hits, and Caster just looks so deflated. He's like, "Come on, man! I thought this wouldn't happen."
Oh, he escapes into the crowd and tries to hide.
He tries to hide in the crowd, which is a pretty funny bit. And then, so the bell rings finally. He chases him back to the ring. Get a Hurricane Rana by Caster. Page comes up behind him, just absolutely annihilates him, hits him with a buckshot lariat, gets the win there. He poses for the crowd, and then we see a replay of Ricochet Swerve from last week as Ricochet mocks Swerve. Swerve says not over yet. More on that later. And then we have MJF backstage. Renee asks about his match tonight, and he talks some shit about Texas and about Dustin, of course. And then Paige walks up, and he just screams, "Out! Get out of here! It's my interview now!" And MJ was like, "What are you talking about?" And he was like, "What's your deal? You have a crush on me? A few weeks in a row here?" He says, "By the way, you smell great. I didn't know Jack Daniels came in a cologne." And Paige says, 5 years, that's still the best you got? And he's like, "Okay, fine. Not highbrow enough for it, whatever." He says, "You know what? Whatever this is, it's not for you. You don't have the spunk, and deep down you know it. I watch you question every week, walking around like a lost puppy. You lost your friends. You lost everything, all for a little apology. You're a joke, and the punchline is these schmucks believe in you. If anyone deserves to pound you, it's MJF. I'm going to beat Dustin and do what you failed to accomplish several times, become AEW World Champion twice."
Yeah.
So he storms off, and Hangman has nothing to say.
Yeah. Going back to the quick little Swerve Ricochet video package, Nana was imploring Swerve to move past Ricochet.
Oh, this is when they did the interview. Okay, I forgot. I didn't know if they'd done that.
Yeah,
later.
It was all the same segment. And
this was
on the
such
title.
a good bit between Nana and Swerve. And yeah, Nana was imploring Swerve because, Ricochet stole the jacket. And Nana had such a he interrupted the interview.
Yeah.
And he said, "I've been doing this for 3 decades, and Ricochet is just walking all over. But Swerve, you need to focus on the world title, not Ricochet." And so that's like 3 major players who are talking about, between Hangman, MJF, and now Swerve, talking about the world title, which they all should be doing.
Well, also last week Ospreay did.
Ospreay as well, yeah.
Or last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. Mentions that he wants to be focused on that, but the Don Callis family keeps getting in his way.
But the addition of the complexity between Swerve and Nana, how they're both acting in their best interests, but they're kind of at odds. And it's not going to a cheesy split. It's, what does success look like?
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to find out. Is ultimately beating Ricochet what success looks like, or do we need to move past that and get to the world title? And I like that. It's more realistic.
Yeah, it is. Then we had MJF versus Dustin Rhodes. This is a really good match.
This was a really good match, yeah.
MJF gets the win. He's working over Dustin's arm throughout. MJF hits the final reckoning, targets the arm, puts on Salt of the Earth. Oh, sorry, the final reckoning, Dustin kicks out, and then MJF right into the Salt of the Earth. Dustin tries to get to the rope, but MJF pulls him back to the center of the ring, puts on a crossface. Dustin passes out. Afterwards, MJF puts the armbar back on Dustin. Hangman's music hits. He comes to the ring. They start fighting. Security breaks it up. They're just fighting all over the place. MJF gets on the mic because they go up into the crowd and everything.
Yeah, MJF tries to throw him off the vomitorium.
Yeah, and so security comes, breaks it up, and Hangman is supposed to be escorted out of the building. And MJF gets on the mic and says, "You channel, let them fight. I'm ready to go, but Hangman sucks and he's afraid because he's a gutless coward and a loser like everyone here." So Paige comes just
screaming
down the ramp. Huge pop. They start going at it again. Security breaks them up.
Yeah, really, really solid feud here between these two now.
Yep. And then during commercial break, Hangman just started beating up security.
Yeah.
They showed a replay of it when they came back.
That was pretty good too. We had a video package for Mariah May and Tony Storm. It was mainly just Mariah May backstage. It says, you should have died in August. You never knew how to write an ending. You can have comebacks, but never know when to stop. Beating you in Australia isn't the worst thing I could do. I can let you live and leave. And people can realize that Mariah did it better. You're nothing without me. Tony Storm is nothing without me. Did you watch any of the Renee Tony Storm stuff in the theater? It was like, I forget what the freaking show is called. Somebody in chat will probably have it. But it was really well filmed.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're really stepping, between that and the Harley stuff, they're really stepping up their production game.
Yeah.
But it was a really, really well done. It was like a 10-minute interview. And Tony Storm was just absolutely phenomenal in it. She just really understands this character too well. Just so well, man.
Yeah, I got to check that out. Hurt Syndicate defended the tag titles against Gun Club. Gun Club got more of their shit in than the previous tag champions did.
Yeah, what is the name of the previous tag champion?
It's Private Party, Steve.
I forget who that is. They've just been gone. They've been gone. Where are they going? Bring them back.
So the finish of this sees Lashley break up a 310 to Yuma. Shelton hits a super kick on Austin. German suplex. Hits one on Colton. Lashley hits the spinebuster chokeslam deal. Follows with the spear on Austin to get the win. And then Brian Cage, Lance Archer walk out. So that's the next tag title match we got there. That'll be fun.
That'll be a fun one. Yeah. That'll actually be a really fun match. So Harley Cameron did a rap video. I'm not even going to try to explain it. It's just really good and people should check it out. But the cool thing is, like, halfway through, she like cuts it off. And then they cut to like a shot of her just sitting in a chair addressing the camera, addressing Mercedes in the camera. And this is so well acted. It's so well performed. She says, Mercedes, you're one of the best in the world. There was a time when I didn't know how to wrestle, but there was also a time when I couldn't sing or play guitar or do ventriloquism or speak Chinese. And then she does speak Chinese and it sounds so fluent. She says, I guess I'm a quick learner. All those times you called me a loser, I want to say thank you. It pushed me to work harder, inspired me to be different. Thank you for elevating the women's division because Harley Cameron's going to win the TBS title in Australia. You know, I don't want to ride the money train. I want to drive the money train, feel the wrath. This was such a good promo.
It really was.
And I think that's going to be a really, really fun match. And I think that she's obviously going to lose, but that crowd is going to absolutely eat up everything about it.
Yep. And hopefully it's a situation where she loses but gains a lot from the loss, you know?
Oh, I don't see any other outcome. I really don't.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be just a killer moment for her.
Yeah, I think so too. Death Riders finally got around to defending those trios titles against Kingdom. They got a new theme though. Gone was Kingdom. It sounded more like Undisputed Era theme.
Did they? I didn't notice the entrances this time. Did they do the thing where the two come out and then Adam Cole comes out separate from
his
them?
music, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Everybody loves that music.
Yeah.
I mean, it is like the most Undisputed Era. They should all three come out to that.
I know. Well, the new Kingdom theme sounds a lot like Undisputed Era theme, or Undisputed Era theme too.
I'm trying to remember if I know I saw it on Collision. Maybe I didn't pay close enough attention. I'll check it out next time.
It's not the Kingdom theme anymore.
Kingdom.
So Death Riders get the win here, courtesy of a low blow from Wheeler Yuta, rolling up Kyle O'Reilly. Cheat to win. That's what Death Riders had to do.
I'm really
this
curious.
Match a ton of time though. It was like a 20-minute match.
It was an awesome match too. It was really, really good. I'm kind of curious where they go from here with the Undisputed Kingdom, because I was surprised, because they just set this up on Collision.
Yeah.
And then they did it.
Yeah.
And I was kind of surprised that they didn't give this like a pay-per-view slot or a Grand Slam slot or something like that.
Or milk the story a little bit, huh?
I mean, I know Claudio's going to be in the tag match, but
yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of surprised that they're not going to milk it. I don't know if it's going to. It seems like they're going to pivot now to Death Riders versus 2.0 and Daniel Garcia, because after the match, Death Riders attack Undisputed Kingdom, Garcia 2.0 come out, chase him off, and then Garcia helps Cole up. Maybe they'll do at Revolution like a triple threat trios match. That's a lot.
Or maybe they're going to do Adam Cole versus Daniel Garcia for that TNT title.
Oh, that's a possibility. They could do that.
They could do They could do that. They definitely set up a feud between Chris Statlander and Megan Bayne on Dynamite. So Megan Bayne has a match against Maya Wolf. She wins that pretty quickly with the flying clothesline F5. So as Megan Bayne is making her way up the ramp, Chris Statlander makes her entrance for her match against Penelope Ford. They kind of have a moment. Megan goes backstage. Statlander versus Ford was a lot of fun. It was a really good match.
This match was cool as hell, man. This was Statlander is just... But Penelope Ford's also really stepped up her game as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Statlander gets the win here. So Ford hits a Poison Rana, but misses the handspring back elbow. So then Statlander hits Lariat, Wednesday Night Fever for the win. And then Megan Bayne walks back out. So Statlander kind of leans in through the ropes to talk some crap. Penelope hits her from behind, knocks her to the floor, and then Megan Bayne hits Statlander with an F5 on the floor, then poses over. That should be really good. I'm looking forward to Statlander versus Megan Bayne.
Yeah, that should be really good. Who should win that match?
I mean, Megan Bayne will.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think it'll be a good... it's going to be a good test in terms of what they want from her. Because if it's like, Statlander's kind of really powered up.
Yeah.
And if they still see Statlander as like, okay, this is somebody who, took Mercedes to the limit, et cetera, et cetera. If they want to shoot Megan Bayne to the moon, then okay, yeah, get that win over Statlander.
That's my guess.
Yeah. That could be. I mean, she's got the look. She definitely has the look.
Oh, the presentation on Megan Bayne is 10 out of 10.
It's outstanding, yeah. There's a funny bit on Collision where Thunder Rosa tries to say hi to her and Megan Bayne just does her typical, like, nonplussed, walks away. Thunder Rosa just starts talking hella shit. She's like, oh, what? Can't be nice around here? I don't know. It was funny. Thunder Rosa's funny. We got a name for Samoa Joe's crew. The Ops.
The Ops.
Stands for opponents.
Oh, yeah. I'm aware.
They had a match against John Cruz, Aaron Solo, and Rosario Grillo.
Not a competitive bout.
Some of the wrestlers was like, hey, what's Larson doing in the ring? There was a guy with one of these dudes had a bit of a salt and pepper beard.
That's John Cruz.
Is that John Cruz?
Yeah, that's John Cruz.
All right. So the Ops easily handle these guys in embarrassing fashion. Joe hits fake Larson with a muscle buster for the win. I was like, oh, I hope his neck isn't in the same shape as Larson's. So Joe gets on the mic afterwards and delivers an amazing Samoa Joe promo. Says, this is my brother Hook. This is my brother Shibata. Week after week we come out here. The world asks what this is about. I'll tell you. What you see are three men who always have a misunderstanding, and the answer is always violence. Three men who always have a problem and always beat your ass to solve it. What's standing here is the Ops. We'll hunt you in the ring. We'll hunt you in the streets. What leads me to you, Christian, and the patriarchy. And I'm just thinking to myself, get past this shit. I want to see the Ops against anybody besides the patriarchy at this point.
Yeah.
He says, this could have been simple. You just had to take your ass whooping like a man, but you continue to hide from the Ops. Since I can't drive you out of your dressing room and your chicken-ass cowards show up tonight, I say next week on Dynamite, patriarchy versus the Ops.
So after Brian Keith cannot collect the bounty on Bandito, Chris Jericho says that he's going to do it. He says, we don't yell on the learning tree. We team up. We learn from each other. It's the teachable moment. I collect the bounty. So Bandito, meet me in the ring right now because I challenge you to a showdown. So Jericho comes to the ring. Bandito does as well. They does, the thing where they have their backs to each other, walk to the corners, turn around. And rather than any sort of physicality starting between just the two of them, Brian Keith trips up Bandito. Learning Tree starts attacking. Bandito outrunners make the save. Big Bill walks out with the poster and shows the Bandito is like, I'm collect the bounty. He's still trying to make up from failing the first time. Goes for a choke slam. Hobbs music hits. They start throwing hands. Spine buster from Hobbs. Leaves Bill laying.
Yep. And that's your AEW Dynamite recap.
Yep.
Also this week, of course, we had NXT. We already talked about Ricky Starks and what he did with his debut. Also, at Vengeance Day, the title match has turned into, as kind of predicted by both of us, a fatal four-way after Roxanne Perez hilariously mimicking, and I wish the TV would have held on her a little bit more, because she came out so Bayley and Cora Jade had a match. And so during the match, Bayley's got Cora kind of on the ropes. She's about to drop an elbow, I think.
Yeah.
And Roxanne, her original music hits. And Roxanne comes out dressed up like Bayley from back in the wacky, wavy, inflatable dude days.
But none of the wacky, wavy, inflatable tube men, though.
Really sad about that.
Yeah.
But then, the cameras didn't really... I get it. There's a lot going on. But they really should have milked that a bit more because Roxanne came out and it looked like she was mimicking the entire routine of Bayley. Yeah. And they cut back to Bayley's horrified reaction. Their chemistry is so good. I love this feud so much between Bayley and Roxanne because it's so petty and wonderful. Yeah. And so, in any event, long story short, kind of the Bayley being obsessed with Roxanne, trolling her, led to her taking the L against Cora Jade, which brings out Ava, who says, hey, guess what? Cora Jade's been added to the title match at Vengeance Day. And then as Cora is trying to kind of Roxanne is feigning some she's obviously distressed at this fact, but she's also trying to keep it together in front of Cora because Cora's come on, it's supposed to be you and me. This is a good thing. We should all be happy here. So Bayley gets upset. She pushes Roxanne into Cora and then hits Perez with a Bayley to belly later on. Bayley's in Ava's office. Roxanne storms in, complains about Cora being added to the title match. Perez I'm still going to become a 3-time champion. Cora enters, says there's going to be a new champ. It's going to be me. She leaves. Roxanne says, yeah, right over my dead body. And then Bayley's you look like a stupid idiot. Storms off.
So then right before the main event, we're backstage. Stephanie, Vicaire, and Julia are saying, hey, to each other, good luck at Vengeance Day. And Stephanie says, after I win, there's only one other place to go, which would be the NXT Women's Championship. So then Ridge Holland walks through, making his way for the main event, which was a steel cage match for the North American title against Tony D'Angelo. Before that match happened, though, we had the segment backstage with Tony D's family. And Stax is hey, we've been on a different page of late. I've been taking care of business of my own. And Tony's I'm good. It's a cage match. I got to do this on my own. What do you always say? Forget about it. Right? And Stax says, you're right. Go take care of your business. So, main event happened. Steel cage bout. North American title on the line against Ridge Holland. During this match, Izzy Dame tries to slide a crowbar into the ring. Of course, Tony says, I got to do this on my own. Stax takes it from her, and then he slides it into the ring. Tony and Ridge both grab it. Ridge gets it, hits Tony with it, follows with the clothesline, the back of Tony's head. Tony kicks out, and then pretty much right after that, Tony hits the spine buster to get the win. The D'Angelo family tries to get in the ring to celebrate, but Ridge blasts Stax and Luca, so they brawl the back. Rizzo and Izzy Dame are checking on Tony while Spears, Nico, and Brooks Jensen walk towards the ring. So Izzy helps up Tony, then blasts him in the knee with the crowbar. Spears, Brooks, Nico get in the ring, and they just beat the hell out of Tony. Izzy hits Rizzo with a choke slam, and then Spears hits Tony with a C4 off the second rope onto a chair.
Yeah, man. Yeah. The problem here is you had two women in the faction. You can never have two women in a faction. You get the lead dude, the mid dude, maybe the tag team, or there's a third guy so that the mid dude can be with the dude, and then you got one woman. That's how the math works, Larson. Or you get a faction of entirely women. On the off, sometimes. And I've only known of one situation, and it's metaphor where I don't know what's going on there because nobody's really the lead dude. You got two dudes and two women, and it throws everything off. But somehow, some way it works.
I mean, Pontius Olsen brings up Judgment Day. You got Liv and Raquel.
You got Liv and you got the heater Raquel. That's kind of different, though. Yeah. And also, what's happened since that's been introduced into that faction?
I think the real thing is you knew Izzy wasn't going to be a full-time member of the D'Angelo family. That's the thing is they kind of welcomed her in to a degree because she helped at one point. But it's this isn't going to work out well for Tony D and his family because, the writing's on the wall there. She's not going to be a member of the faction.
Well, also, when she claims Sean Spears' group is stalking her and they're literally within the sight of like they're 20
and really
feet
well
away.
lit in the background. Yes.
So it's like her new faction is right there. We all know this.
Yes.
It's a really ill-chosen faction for her, but I guess you got a faction up, man.
I will say this: at least the beatdown on Tony was actually really effective.
Oh it was really good. It was
sense
really
of
good.
urgency from Spears and Jensen and Nico was really well executed.
Spears is so like his. You know, it's rare, Larson, that we mention somebody's presentation being off the charts bad. Most of the time we're like, oh man, Megan Bain, presentation 10.
10 out of 10. Yeah.
Right? Most of the time when we talk about presentation, it's because somebody is just so, what do they call it? Toyetic, where it's like, oh my gosh, they're like candy. They're so well presented.
You could see like an action figure being made out of, the presentation before you. Yes.
I can't imagine a worse looking action figure, a less desirable action figure than Sean Spears.
Well, especially if he's got the slacks, the vest, blazer with the that goes to the knees,
the sleeveless blazer, the vest without a shirt underneath it.
Yeah.
The whatever, I don't even know what the hair is doing these days. It's a mess. And here's the funny thing about Spears. I think Spears he's got the charisma, he's got the camera charisma. Mm-hmm. But it's just caked in the ugliest presentation I've ever seen, maybe in my life, new generation notwithstanding, because there was some truly like, I mean, maybe if he put on the Max Moon outfit, it could be worse.
Yeah.
But if you do a modernized Max Moon outfit, it might be kind of cool.
It could.
Yeah. I mean, most of Max Moon's problems that he looked like his outfit was made of felt.
Yeah.
But yeah, does he have a name for the faction?
I don't believe so.
Yeah.
I don't believe so. Not yet, at least.
And Jensen looks like a werewolf these days.
He does.
Yeah. Werewolf coated with the hair combo.
Yeah.
So, and they actually made him a werewolf and they brought in Ed Edwards.
No, we got to have a battle of the werewolves.
Yeah,
Brooks versus Ed Edwards.
Yeah. Oh, you don't want to see a team up of werewolves. It'd be like What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Maggie, this is really strong. She says Jensen looks gross as fuck to me.
He's pretty unkempt.
He does look like he smells. He does.
I think that's the point. I think that's the idea.
Is it?
Is that it looks like he changes his clothes like every other week.
Yeah.
Probably sleeps in his car. Maybe pees in the back seat.
The thing, I mean, that's the thing. The thing, like, I know it's so bizarrely obvious that, like, I think they were just trying to do a Jack Perry thing.
Kind of, yeah.
But like Jack Perry, look, the dude's got his father's looks. Good looking man.
Yeah. Handsome dude. Yeah.
And he looks kind of rock starish with the scapegoat stuff. And it's cool. Yeah. And, people might not like Jack Perry. That's fine. I don't care. I don't even know where he's been lately.
On TV.
Right. But he's a good looking dude. He looks cool. It does not look like he soils himself.
No.
Jensen looks like he soils himself.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Anyways, let's talk about Obafemi. He comes to the ring for a promo. He talks about defending the title at Vengeance Day. He says he's expecting a handicap match against A-Town Down, but when it comes to the title, it's going to be every man for themselves. And then we have 5 minutes of the most obvious. Oh, are they going to break up? Huh?
Dude,
huh?
This is so.
Huh?
This is
with
not,
Waller in theory. Yeah.
This is not a good match for a premium live event. This is not. It's not. I'm sorry, it's not. Ava, as a general manager, took a big L on this one. Why she ever made this match is so stupid.
Yeah, because should have gotten this match. Should have been his match. If
your job in kayfabe is to book the best possible thing you can, you need to think, okay, do I want a Grayson Waller as champion? Do I want an Austin Theory as champion?
No, it is. It seems like in kayfabe, Ava at times is like, I don't know quite what to do here. Something immediately happens. Bang, problem solved. That's your match.
Yeah, she doesn't take a beat. You got to take that beat and think big picture here, Ava.
Yes.
But yeah, man.
Or like, all right, Cora beat Bayley. All right, Cora's in the 4-way match now.
You know what though? That could be you can kind of take a step back and be like, well, Maybe she's thinking to herself last week, I kind of feel like Cora might belong in this match. Let's put her in a match with Bayley, see what happens. And then I'll know if she wins, I can spring on that. Right? That's kind of, I can tell that's sort of for, but like the mere idea of putting a tag team in a triple threat against one dude, that's horrible. That's just really, that's malpractice.
Maybe Ava's looking at her roster. It's like, gosh,
that's true too.
Scene here is not good.
She's like, is there any way we can do Zarya versus Obafemi? Because on the women's side of thing, we got a lot of options, a lot of cool shit happening here. But on the men's side of thing, we got Dante Chen, one of the dudes from OTM. Which one is out the mud more than the other guy?
Anyway,
they done a Wesley? Yeah, they did Wesley for Obafemi.
For the North American
title, killed that guy.
Yeah.
I think twice.
So, it is before Wesley turned heel.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all this dissension between Waller and Theory. I'm going to be champion. No, I'm going to win the championship. There's some shit talk. And then eventually they just both turn and beat up Obafemi. Hit him with their finishers.
And then they're going to do the thing where, if they can only work together and sacrifice to win the title, they could do it, but they're not going to be able to. And then it'll break down.
Get in their way. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
We had a video package hyping up. Match. The challenge was issued. The match was made. Eddie Thorpe talks about being looked over, says he's going to leave his mark, challenges Trick to a strap match at Vengeance Day. Later on in the interview with Sarah, Trick accepts that challenge because Ava's like, it's up to you, Trick. Have the match or not. JDC, Johnny Curtis, Fandango.
Johnny Dango Curtis.
Yes, challenged Lexus King for the Heritage Cup. Lexus King retains after hitting a draping coronation. He gets the win. We got an update from medical professional on Javon Evans. So the doctor says, all right, I'm going to clear Javon for action this Saturday, but one wayward punch from Ethan Page, you fracture your jaw again, you could be out for 6 months or never wrestle again.
So
I'm letting Javon make the decision. I'm going to clear him.
That's not really clearing a person, though.
No.
That's just allowing them to make a bad decision. That's putting Javon in a really bad spot.
He wants to get his hands, rightly so, on Ethan Page.
And the doctor's saying he's cleared, but he's clearly not. So it's like if he says, no, I'm not going to risk my entire career on this. I'm going to wait a couple more months. Then you look like, kind of a wimp.
I know.
Because the doctor's cleared. Well, he hasn't cleared me. He just said he's leaving it up to me.
Yeah.
Again, malpractice.
It's like Dr. Nick from The Simpsons.
It really is. Hello, everybody.
Hey, yeah. Dr. Nick. So then we cut to Ava in her office with Javon, and she's like, your jaw can get really messed up in this match. You sure you want to do it? And Javon is like, yep, I'm willing to risk injury to face Ethan Page. And so Ava says, well, there's a liability waiver, so you don't hold us liable for anything that happens in this match. Look it over, think about it. Javon just signs it. Says, all right, thought about it. Here you go.
I mean, if they want to keep this real, just open the match with Ethan Page punting the shit out of his jaw. He goes down, the ref throws up an X. And he's like, doctor comes out, I told you. Like, oh my God, he's out for 6 months now. Darn it. Or maybe forever. 6 months or forever. Nothing in between.
Yep, it's one or the other. So later on, Ethan Page has a promo. Says, Javon, you have a long career ahead of you. You could be the future face of NXT, maybe WWE. But you're willing to risk it all just to get your hands on me. This time, I'm not going to break your jaw. I'm going to shatter it. If you're looking for vengeance, the only thing you're going to find is you're going to be looking for a new career.
Oh, wow. Power rank. New careers for Javon Evans.
That's a good question.
An aerial artist of some sort, like in Vegas when they do like what do they call Cirque du Soleil?
Yeah.
Aerial artist.
Yeah.
Be a good one.
Yeah.
Podcaster.
Yeah. He's probably got some good stories.
Probably. Yeah, absolutely.
So we found out who Fraxium's next challenger is going to be. We had Hank and Tank Heights and Bourne, and then Briggs and Inamura. This match was tons of fun. The pace in this match was crazy.
Bro, that frog splash to punctuate things from Inamura was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that Inamura splash was great.
So right? That was cool.
Yeah. So Hank eats the L here, Inamura, with the splash, preceded by a huge clothesline from Briggs. So Fraxium's watching on that platform, that raised platform they have in the PC, and so they congratulate Briggs and Inamura. Says, you deserve a shot at our titles now. We'll see you at Vengeance Day.
Did you see there was a bit with Fraxium and the Hardys on TNA?
Oh, I did not.
I just saw a still of it. I didn't actually watch it. Heather, what happened? Let us know.
They got to do a Worlds Collide. They got to. That's like a huge missed opportunity not to do a joint premium live event.
I agree, man. I think it'd be cool. You hear Josh Alexander is available?
Yeah. Well, he will be on Saturday. Contract is the initial reporting.
NXT picks up Starks and Josh Alexander. Holy shit. Wow.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Also, Kalani Jordan and Jada Parker both looking for a North American title shot. So Fatal Influence are walking around backstage saying Stephanie Vaquer, no amigas. She has no friends. Kalani steps up. She says, I want it next for that North American title. Fatal Influence says, you need to focus on Jada Parker. And then she steps up. So I'm focused on the North American title. I got next. And then Ashanti steps in, says, well, she beat Kalani and Jada. She deserves the next shot.
Oh, Carmen,
yeah.
Kalani and Jada, yeah.
So, yeah, a lot going on there.
We're backstage with Zarya and Sol Ruka.
Let me ask something real quick.
Sol Ruka, what?
Does everybody trying to come after Fatal Influence for that North American title in this segment, that doesn't maybe say that they're going to push on Stephanie? No. Okay. For the audio crowd, he's waving his head no, shaking
my head no.
Okay,
no.
There you go.
No.
We do have an audio crowd.
Could be proven wrong, but... So we're backstage, Zarya. Sol Ruka. So Saul's telling Zarya, hey, we won last week because we did things my way. We got a match against Lash and Jakara. Let's go train on the beach. And Zarya says, fine, but we're going to train her way. Nikita Lyons shows up, starts talking a bunch of shit, challenges Zarya to a match. Match happens. Zarya gets the win after avoiding a Vader bomb, hit the spear, and an F5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nikita Lyons is something else. We got possibly the rebirth of Chase U coming up too, man. So Cale Dixon steps up to Andre Chase. He introduces him to Uriah Connors. Yeah, and they invite him out and about. Chase is like, can't go out on a school night. Chase is a mess.
Yeah, man. He got his institution taken away from him.
Well, problem gambling. Can't be gambling.
Hey, maybe this is how we're going to get Harlem Bravado back, Steve.
That'd be sick. Yes, please. That'd be amazing. He's like, you know what? Andre Chase doesn't have the feeling anymore, but you know who's going to bring back that feeling? Harlem Bravado. Hell yeah. Anyways, that's it. That's your NXT recap right
That's
there.
That's your NXT recap.
What did we learn today, kids? That Harlem Bravado needs to come back. Uriah Connors is Finley's youngest son.
Yeah.
David Finley's brother.
Yeah.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
All right. Question time.
It's time to answer some questions. So let's go ahead and do that. Switch account. Here we go.
Chris Stanton says, can you guys explain what's so great about Hangman's character?
No. Either you get it or you don't.
All right, there you go.
I can't do that. Like either I'll put it this way. You either buy into it, you either watch and you're like compelled, or you're not.
Yeah.
It's there. It's right there.
Yeah.
So my dad always used to say, he's like, you know what? What is the phrase? If you gotta ask the question, you're never gonna get it. If you watch and you don't get it, you never will. I don't know what it is. I forget what he said.
All right.
It was cooler then. AJ Otani says, what young wrestler would you want to see in a veteran's old gimmick? Tony D as fake Razor Ramon.
Brooks Jensen is Repo Man.
Oh my God, that really fits.
Yeah.
That really fits. But doesn't Tony D kind of look like Rick Bognar?
Yeah, a little bit.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Imagine Brooks Jensen kind of wearing the same stuff, but he has the tire tread over his shirt still.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
There you go, Repo Man. Chadwick Hughes says, "What is the biggest dirt sheet rumor report you were surprised actually didn't end up happening?" I'm sure there's a lot of them, but
oh man, it was DDP joining the Wolfpack.
Oh yeah, yeah,
that one. And then there was all sorts of people joining DX. The Hardys and Val Venus were the ones that I remember most.
Kane, we were supposed to have Green Kane, remember?
We were supposed to have Green Kane. Yeah, I was surprised that shit didn't happen. I wonder how many sort of like playground conversations there were amongst kids who followed wrestling in '96 that were like, man, did you hear what Meltzer said? Mabel's going to be the third man.
Oh, I know. Sebastian Garcia says, "Who is the biggest name outside of WWE that would still lose their name if they came to WWE?"
Oh, man. I tell you this, they're not very big names at this point. Unless it's okay. One off the top of my head, Hologram. Because I think that character is owned by AEW.
Is a Tony Khan creation.
Yeah.
Hologram is. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a big deal in AEW. Collision.
Do you think if Ed Edwards went to WWE, he'd be Ed Edwards?
The fuck else would he be? Trill London?
Yeah. Ed Wolf, something like that.
Yeah, we're not talking. So like Burr Winning and Bonkers mentioned Cardona and Athena. We're not talking about people who would get their name back.
Yeah.
We're talking about people who, like Ricky Starks, like, is he going to keep his name? Probably going to keep his name. Wardlow.
Oh, Wardlow would get a new name.
He'd definitely get a new name.
Yeah. I think he'd want to get away from that name.
It's a terrible name.
Isn't that his actual last name?
I think maybe.
Michael Wardlow?
Isn't it Michael Wardlow? Hold on a second. Let's find out. Wardlow. His name is Michael Wardlow, Austin Wardlow.
He might want to get away from that name given all the failed push attempts at AEW. Just a clean slate, fresh start.
He'd be Mike Austin. And people like, Mike Awesome? No, Mike Austin.
Mike Austin. So it's not Mike Awesome. It's Mike Austin. Still sounds like awesome.
Sounds like awesome. Oh, man. It was a great question. Blue Monkey G says, whatever happened to Adam Mayhem and the H title?
So, Cal Jack has the H title now.
Yeah.
Adam Mayhem moved to Korea because he started wrestling there.
Didn't he come back?
I think so.
Oh, yeah. No, he was wrestling there.
He was wrestling. That's where he lost the H title to Simon Miller.
Yeah.
And then he stepped away from wrestling after that.
Yeah, after that, it's like, who cares? He's not wrestling anymore, so we don't care. No, I don't know. I think he's got a good life. I think he got married and he's got a good job. So I think he's doing well. So yeah, Cal Jack beat Simon Miller for the H title.
Yep.
During the LA Mania. Dark Dank Lucha had the footage. I think we aired it somewhere.
Yep.
I want to get that H title back to Action Coast Wrestling, which, by the way, there's an Action Coast Wrestling show. I've been meaning to talk about this stuff. We've got an Action Coast Wrestling show. If you guys have family obligations, March, the day of Revolution, that's the next Action Coast Wrestling show.
Well, actually, the day of Revolution's on Sunday. It's not on Saturday. It's on March 9th.
Oh, when's the next Action Coast show? Oh, shit. What's happening March 1st then?
That's Elimination Chamber.
Oh, it's the same day as Elimination Chamber. That's the thing. Okay. So, yeah, if you got family obligations for WWE, then in Pacheco, there is an Action Coast Wrestling show. It's the promotion that me and Larson, it's the one we own, and we never promote for some reason because it always slips our mind. It's running on autopilot over there. They're doing great stuff there. I went to the show, one of the last shows, and it was so much fun. And I got to chop the living shit out of Trip Rogers. It was so much fun. And it ended up getting moment of the year in Action Coast Wrestling for their like award show. And I've been meaning to like put a little short out or something like that, or like a video about it. But yeah, it was an awesome moment. I have a devastating chop, at least as it pertains to Trip Rogers' doughy chest.
Well, you have a lot of ill will towards Trip as well for the whole water bottle.
Yeah, it was all so pent up, and I ended up getting the water bottle back. But yeah, just a really phenomenal moment in my life, my career, and obviously in Trip Rogers' career as well, to be bestowed upon a chop from me. I know it meant a lot to him. Yeah, no, it was awesome. So a day of Elimination Chamber, Pacheco, California. For like, I can watch this shit anytime. Go check out independent wrestling. It's always so much fun.
You know, and if Elimination Chamber is an early start time, you know, especially if you live in the Bay Area, it's entirely possible you can watch Elimination Chamber. They'll be over by 6 to still make it to the Action Coast Wrestling Show.
That's a very good point as well. Yeah. So be sure to go check
Chamber
that
starts
out.
at 3. I'll check on that.
So yeah, there's an update on the H title for you. Let's see here. Javier says, which 2 wrestlers in NXT would you call up, and what 2 main roster stars would you move to NXT?
Sorry, say again.
What are 2 main roster stars you'd move down to NXT next?
I mean, they're going to need more challengers to face Obafemi, probably.
Oh, somebody earlier mentioned Omos. Omos versus Obafemi? Yeah. That'd be awesome.
That'd be great. I'd
love that.
Yeah, they should do that 1,000%.
Do that.
And then NXT people get called up. Hey, we got a whole video about that's going to be up. I'm going to get that edited and get it up tomorrow about who we think are the next NXT call-ups.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Later on today over at Friendo Club Wrestling. So we already have our Vengeance Day predictions. And then today we're going to put up our AEW Grand Slam
Australia.
Yeah.
Moses Supposes here says, do you think Harley Cameron gets more of a fan push behind her by winning or losing to Monet? I think the upswell of support would probably be greater in a loss, actually. Because then that's the adversity she's facing in her story to eventually win a title.
I'll be honest, man. I think it's kind of like even Steven. Like, I don't think there's no downside to it. I think Mercedes is gonna make Harley look like $1 million.
Absolutely.
You know, and absolutely, there's definitely a story there for getting so close, understanding that you're on the right path, and that'll get more people behind you. Yeah, I think so, absolutely. But then,
yeah.
Who wouldn't want to be the person to dethrone Mercedes?
Oh, 1,000%, yeah. I guess it depends if they want to get to that moment more immediately or tell the story of her getting to that moment.
Yeah. Pontus says, will we review Grand Slam?
I'm not opposed to it. It's probably be a 2-hour show. We could do a review of Vengeance Day Grand Slam kind of together, just kind of a light breezy type deal.
Yeah, I'm down. Like on Monday, we just sort of sit down and do it real quick.
Yeah, let's do it real quick, and then before we go play basketball. Weather's supposed to be good on Monday.
Cool.
Assuming everybody's ready to go, feeling top notch health wise.
Yeah, my knees are fine. Knees just fine. Boy, that hurt, man. Boy, that hurt.
I know you're. It was
like somebody shot me in the knee. But pain is temporary, Larson.
How about this question from Luis? If the game Cerebral Assassin Triple H had come up with a wrestling all-star games and skills event like the NBA, what would you suggest or propose? So at the PC, they have a combine event.
Yeah.
Where they do, like I think broad jumps, all sorts of, skills and whatnot. Something like that would be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a combine thing. That'd be cool.
They should actually do have wrestlers do their 40 times and see if Braun Breaker actually does run like a 4.3840 or whatever the time was.
Yeah. Boy, he's fast.
He is fast. I wonder who'd win in a race, Nathan Frazier or Braun Breaker? Because Nathan Frazier is fast too.
My guess would be Braun, and I don't even know why. That's my guess.
Because Nathan Frazier played football.
He did play soccer, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know.
That I would like to see.
Yeah.
I'd actually really like to see that.
Are soccer players, and I honestly don't know the answer to this, and I don't know if you would, but maybe chat would, internationally speaking, football players, do they have something similar? Are they known like football players? You know, when they have the combine, it's like, oh my God, you see this ridiculous speed on this guy?
Yeah.
Is there something comparable for soccer players? Obviously, you need to be like a top soccer player. You got to be a fast dude. I know that. But like with football, it's like such a thing that's like, oh my God. You know what I mean?
That's because the NFL Combine is such a huge event for that reason. I don't know if there's anything comparable in the world of soccer.
Like, do they care about like pure speed to the degree that they do in football?
Yeah.
Jorge says, yeah, they're scouted since youth. But yeah, I mean, okay, what's like the record for like a football player for like the whatever 440?
Oh, the 40 time.
The 40 time, yeah. I don't know. Sort of out there.
Dirty Rich here says W sent me an email about meeting Hogan at WrestleMania 4, and I marked 41. I marked it as offensive and unsubscribed. Happy fuck Hulk Hogan Day. I got that same email too.
You did, really?
Yes.
I didn't get that.
I was like, bleh.
Hulk Hogan. I did not get that email. Damn it.
Yep, there it is. Got it right there.
Jack Bauer says Xavier Worthy on the Chiefs ran a 4.21.
Yeah, that's the record.
40-yard dash.
And he caught two touchdowns in the Super Bowl.
My goodness gracious. I kind of want to know about soccer players now. Anyways, we'll find out another day, perhaps. That's going to do it for the show today, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. As Larson mentioned, no, he didn't mention this actually. Tomorrow, we've got in the morning, of course, count out going up. What's our count out subject?
It's about releases, the most surprising, shocking releases.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to do that. And then, of course, tomorrow evening, we've got our SmackDown review live after SmackDown. So be sure to tune in for that. Until next time, we'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.